What is going on, my frosty friends? My name is Wintercasice, and welcome back to Lake of Voices. Alright guys, I actually have been meaning to get back to this for a while now, just because I do love the game a lot. I don't know, it kind of slipped through the cracks as I was kind of getting a whole bunch of other stuff done as well. But I'm really happy to get back to this. GB Patch really knows how to make a good visual novel game. But anyway, so we're going to get back into this. If you guys remember, in the last video, we were just walking, and we were continuing walking through, across the lake to try to get to that town that's in danger. But we were warned that at least one person was going to die. Time to find out who that person's going to be, or I don't know what to expect, actually. So let's get right on. After some time, I noticed Margaret isn't keeping up with the guy as much as she was before. Okay. I realize it's because the guide has increased his pace. Uh-oh. Margaret begins to jog in an effort to keep up with him, and oh god, I'm sorry if I mispronounce him. Bamele and I do the same. Despite this, the guide keeps getting further away. Uh-oh. We go faster and faster until suddenly we're full on sprinting across the slick wooden boards. Figures in the dark Figures in the dark fog fly past us at a blur, and it occurs to me that the branching paths and the bridge appear to be sinking. I try hard to swallow my rising panic. The guide shouts something, but it's drowned out by the frantic pounding of our footsteps. I'm trying to piece together what he said. Don't stop, turn, when he takes a masterfully sharp right from a different path, using his own momentum and the sleek wood to slide into the new direction with no loss of speed. How can he do that? That's amazing. That defies the laws of physics. Margaret must not have worked out the warning either, as she is completely caught off guard by the guide's changing course. She runs straight ahead past the turn and continues down the path we've been following up until now. Uh-oh. Margaret, no! She clumsily begins to halt her momentum down the wrong bridge. Then I come up to upon the fork. Turn! I make a hard turn, following the guide and leaving Margaret at the rear. But Melee's footsteps stay as loud as they were before. He's made the turn, as close behind me as ever. Out of the corner of my eye, I see Margaret turn around and try to come back to us, only to have the bridge in front of her fall away. What? I slow down for a breath, feeling the impulse to turn back, but ignore it. There's no time. Margaret can make the jump, and then she'll rejoin us. I keep my eyes glued to the guide's back, ears perked for Margaret's footsteps approaching us. And then I hear it. A scream. No, Margaret! I whip around, sliding to a stop. Margaret is sinking. The bridge she is on is sinking into the water. She's disappearing. She didn't jump.
What are you doing?
Margaret's head shoots up, her face drained of all color. Jump! You go! She stumbles near the edge of the bridge, staring at the placid water of the lake. Even from a distance, I could see her shaking. I can't say if it is from the bridge's descent or her own fear. She barely seems to remain standing. I swallow painfully. Margaret bends and tries to jump. She curves in a small arc, achieving more height than she should, and lands directly in the lake with a muted splash. No! Margaret! Melee starts beside me, but I grab his hand and pull. We start running again, leaving Margaret flailing in the water behind us. No! Oh, no. We don't need to watch this. We both know exactly what will happen to her. Oh my god, no! Margaret's anguish cries pierce the night, then the screaming stops. Oh, my legs grow weak. Oh, what achievement did I just get? Inevitability. Oh, come on. My legs grow weak. It isn't right, but I push myself to keep going. But Melee curses between heavy breaths, calling those things every foul name in his large book. I try to focus on the pounding on my feet, but my brain won't cooperate. Instead, I imagine Margaret's terror as she's clawed to pieces by the Nixie. Oh man, I liked Margaret. After everything, I didn't help her. We left her in the dark. I didn't know! As the night wears on, our strength rapidly fades. How much longer will this last? People have to rest sometime. Almost as if in response to my thought, the guide abruptly halts. I skid to a stop as well, sliding on the surface of the wood. Oh my god. Mamele's voice is tired, but his guard is up. The guide doesn't answer, just stares at something slightly out of view. I step up to join him, following his gaze further down the path. What on earth? Whoa. Hi? Who are you? There, curled up in a little ball illuminated by the lantern's light, cowers a person. His hands grip his head, and he rocks from side to side, mumbling incoherently. Uh-oh.
It's a man.
Hi, dude. Are you okay?
Sorry. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I couldn't. I just couldn't. Please. Sorry.
Hello? I'm struck with an array of questions. What's going on? Why would he wander out onto these bridges on his own? Did he make it this far by himself? Or were there others with him? I'd assume by the way he's acting there was probably someone else with him. If that's somehow the case, I can't blame him for the state of shock he's in. Exactly. The man stops mumbling. He glances above him, seemingly only just now having the strength to lift his head. His expression, the deepest sadness along with the clear markings of terror, are scrawled across his face. I stare at him in shock, not sure what to do.
Leave him.
Leave him? I snap my eyes away from the man and instead to the guide's cold, implacable face. I hope I'm pronouncing that right.
No! We can't just leave him here. Without light, it's certain he'll die.
That's true.
Make it regardless.
Why? Dude. The guy turns to look at us, his eyes seeming to glow from the closeness of his lantern. For the first time, I feel uncomfortable in his presence. I know.
Shelters him will only risk dragging themselves down with him. Leave him.
Dark, dude, but we lost Margaret. I glance at my partner, but Melee is outraged. I'm trying to think of some kind of compromise when the guide speaks again, his voice cutting.
If the man comes, then whoever is shielding him will have to remain at a distance from the rest of the group. Far enough that you can't see me, just my light. That is how you will travel across the bridges.
Oh no.
I didn't agree to lead this man, and I won't. If you ask me to, I will leave you all behind.
Oh man. Oh goodness gracious. But we already lost Margaret and I feel so bad. Oh. Adrenaline surges through my veins and I tense up. It's a painful reminder that the guide isn't here to save our lives, but merely to show us the way. We're on our own. But Melanie and I frantically share more looks between each other, trying to communicate without words. Neither of us have a desire to speak and be the first to make a choice. The man is standing now, though he's still hunched, with his arm wrapped around himself, as if expecting a blow. He stares at the ground rather than at us. Because of this, I'm having trouble reading his face. What exactly happened to him?
Are you well, stranger? Do you know where you are and why you're here?
It's a good question. This actually is a very good question. He glances up, not at me, but towards me, his eyes resting somewhere near my collarbone.
I'm fine. You all can go on your way. Forget you even saw me here.
Oh, okay, man. I mean, I don't want to, but...
That's absurd. You have no way to defend yourself. We can't leave you.
Yes, I'm sure in your eyes I might not seem like much, but that's not exactly a fair shake.
I mean, that's true. That's a fair comment right there.
Maybe in a perfect world, every man would be as large as you. That's not how things always go. Doesn't mean I'm defenseless.
True. Very true. The man's response is meandering. The words themselves seem to be in good jest, but he's still barely looking at us, fidgeting with his hands, but Melly frowns, unimpressed.
It was a joke.
He smiles hesitantly, making eye contact with us for the first time.
What part of it was supposed to be the joke? Do you even realize what is happening in this moment?
I mean, that is true. I mean, okay, I'm having a hard time making the decision here.
Never mind. Forget that too.
Aw, dude, come on.
Point is, I'm alright.
Are you sure?
You have found yourself out alone and unlit on Sinlos.
Exactly. Something must be wrong with you.
Okay, that's a little mean to say, but I mean, this is a cursed lake, so...
Oh no. Sounds like you've been talking with my father.
Ouch. He lets out a weak little laugh coupled with an eyebrow raise, voice trembling. No one really knows what to make of this. The man gives us a small wave and begins down the path we came. Vamele huffs, tossing his hands into the air.
That's not even the right way.
It is for me.
Oh, dude, are you trying to get yourself killed?
You must have come quite a ways if it was the other shore you started on.
Goodness. The man's smile grows.
Good. That's not so bad.
I mean, it's not, but, like, dude, it would be so much easier to just walk around. There is no response to this remark, unsure of what could be said.
I still think he should come with us. A person needs to manage on his own. Sticking with us is his best option.
But at the same time, if we choose to bring him with, then the guide will not guide us. I look over the man's body, noting the scrawniness of his limbs. Scrawny, but not necessarily lacking in muscle. The bravado he was showing as he tried to leave us has faded yet again, and now he's standing quietly, looking at us if watching a play. Interest, but no true connection to the events.
It's easy for you to say such things, but whose light are you offering?
True, very true.
It's not mine, and you are putting her in even more danger with your own presence already.
Oh, I love how they're referring to us. Mameli's hands turn into fists. He looks away, but doesn't say anything. For a moment, no one does. I feel a cold sweat on my brow as what I feared come to pass. He's stopping us from protecting another. Why must he get involved now? Why can he not leave us to make our own decisions? Because he's the guide and he's here to guide us. He made a promise to protect two of us, like guide two of us, not guide all three. He was asked permission to guide him, but he does not necessarily mean he has to. It's one of those things where it's like, I normally would be like outrageous and I would say that, no, you can't do this, man. You got to do the right thing. But at the same time, our example of the right thing is not the example of the right thing for everybody. And the guide obviously has hardened from his experiences from being the guide of this bridge on this lake. And he sets the rules. He sets the standards. And if somebody doesn't want to follow those standards, then they can guide themselves. Because it's not his responsibility to protect people. It's his responsibility to guide people.
You... Don't worry about me. I'll be on my way now.
The man's voice is full of something I cannot place, and he starts to shuffle back down the way we came, arms still clenched around himself. I know the guide wants to act as though there is no option. However, I could stay back with him. It'll put Bamele and myself at significantly more risk, but at least this man will stand a chance. Do nothing. I can't risk it. I can't! I lost Margaret already! I can't lose Bamele. Man, no. We have a mission. We lost Margaret, but we have a mission. It goes against everything I believe in, though. But at the same time, I wouldn't risk losing the connection between me and an ally to help an ally in an extremely dangerous location. That's suicide. Bamele stares at the man as he leaves. We both watch him drag his little frame down the bridge, quickly fading from sight. We had to let him go. We've already suffered the loss of one of our own. Exactly! Oh, this hurts, though! The space the man vanished into is dark and silent. We can see and hear nothing of him, not even his footsteps. The guide was right. There are no other options. Oh, man. See, this has replay value. Honestly, I want to replay this and see what other options I could have done. Well, that is what I have to believe. We need to get through this somehow, and being weighed down with guilt will only distract us. Very true. The guide starts moving again at a quick pace. After a moment's hesitation and one last glance into the truly lifeless fog, we run to catch up to him. We walk onwards in silence. Our party hasn't changed. The stranger was never added to it, so it's not as if it makes sense to miss him. But there's a sense of loss all the same. No one even attempts to mirth. I keep thinking I should have done more. Should have pushed the guide harder to change his mind so it was less dangerous to keep the man around. Something. Anything. I know. Dude, the guilt, bro. But I have to let this go. I'm not going to forget that man. I'll never forget him. But we still need to get through this. You guys are all the ones that were suicidal enough to go through this river, or across this lake. You could have just walked around. That would have saved you so much hassle. I curl my hands into fists, hoping it'll strengthen my resolve. Then I push forward. God, we turn down a different path and the guide stops. Whoa! Ahead of us stands a group of prowlers. At the sound of us, they turn their heads in unison, as if they knew we were coming. I inhale. The prowlers wriggle somehow, their skin moving more slowly than it should, sliding across their skeletons. They laugh.
We cannot lose another lantern at this point. We're almost to the island.
So what's the goal? The guide rummages through his coat, and with his free hand...
What are you planning?
I don't know. Mameli's tone is borderline threatening, but the guide ignores him. He pulls out a small pouch, then opens a latch on his lantern.
Wait, are you going to throw that at them? What if the bridge sets on fire?
Dude.
It will. We're going to run.
Indeed.
This is insane! These bridges are hellish enough without them also being on fire.
Yeah, but at the same time, Mameli, do you have another option? Well, there's no other way.
And what about the other man? If he's still out there, this could...
He's dead. We're not losing another lantern.
I actually have to agree with the guide on this. We can't lose another lantern. Otherwise, then it's just the guide's. And the guide's always going to save his ass before ours. Sorry to throw the curse word out there, but it's true. He says it with such detached certainty. It's as if he saw it happen himself. No one argues with him. Well, he probably has. The guide steps closer to the prowlers. We fall into step behind him, staying close to his back. He bends his lantern back down until it is lowered to his outstretched arm. The pouch in his hand is set aflame. My God. With a practiced flick of the wrist, he swings the staff back and up. The glass on the lantern snaps closed.
Don't get left behind.
I won't. He takes 3 quick steps, then tosses the pouch. The prowlers are back in the water before the pouch even lands. As soon as it does, the fire starts to lick and curl itself around the wood. The guide breaks into a sprint, and so do the rest of us. The blaze grows despite the heavy dampness from the lake. These bridges aren't normal bridges. Of course that's true. Nothing here is right. Hopefully they won't collapse with the flames. We stay on the guide's heels, almost too close for comfort. If he stops abruptly, we'll all crash into one another, maybe even fall off the bridge. Then the world tilts. It was mid-stride, but when I put my foot down, the bridge isn't where it was. It lurches to one side, either because it was weakened or pushed. Mameli and I manage to keep our ground, as does the guide. He presses on with even bothering to see if we were able to follow. Mameli growls in frustration as we push to keep up with the guide's pace. Man, if Margaret was with us, that would be even harder to do. As our storm of feet thunder across the boards, a silver sliver begins to rise into view just above the edge of the water.
It's the island.
Oh, the island. I squinted and suddenly make out the craggy forms of land and earth. I see it. We're almost there. Safety at long last in sight. New energy surges through me. We push ourselves faster, longing to put these godforsaken bridges behind our backs. All at once, the bridge ends and our entire group rushes ashore. Earth. Solid earth. A haven from the water. I catch my breath while still moving even further away from the dark shoreline. I can't believe we actually made it. Even more difficult is the idea that we're only halfway done. When night falls once more, we have to do it all again. A heavy arm falls across my shoulder, and I strengthen to see Mameli smiling warily at me.
Good work out there.
Thank you. I appreciate it, Mameli, but I'm still sad. Margaret's dead. It's not the usual commendation of a job well done. There's sadness, perhaps even sympathy in the sentence. It ends flatly. Usually Mameli's comfort and good nature gives me at least the urge to smile, but right now it seems like a hollow victory. Despite still having the comfort of one another, we were incapable of doing any true good. We were only able to save ourselves. A quiet moment passes between us. Oh. And then the guide is there. He moves so smoothly that his steps on the soft sand are nearly silent, and his dusky clothes blend with the thinning of the night.
The sun will rise soon. The fire on the bridge is the only reason this island isn't overrun with prowlers right now. However, they could still pose a threat.
Duly noted. So sleep in shifts. Mameli levels an empty look towards the guide.
Is there something we should do?
Indeed. Come. The guide takes us to an area a bit further inland, but not too far from the water. The trees partially obscure our location, and there's enough room to watch the coast in case prowlers start to emerge from the water. Essentially, it's a place where an ambush would be hard.
If any of you see anything at all, speak up. We don't want them to sneak up on us.
Indeed. Almost automatically, each member of the group turns to a different direction. As the sky continues to fade from pale purple to muted blue, the waters stay silent. For the first time, nothing happens. It is a miracle. Suddenly, my chest is lighter and the air is fresher. The first pricks of light appear over the horizon, stinging my eyes after such a long journey through the darkness. A sound catches my attention, and I move my focus towards its direction. The guide is opening the latch in his lantern again. He gently, almost respectfully, blows out the light.
We no longer have to worry about the Nixie. It is over.
for today. I'm almost unable to keep tears of relief from pouring out at those words. We made it through the night. We survived. No one feels the need to speak. We look at each other, an understanding passing between us. My God. Then we find our own space, as comfortable as we can get, and lie down for the rest we weren't sure would ever come. My eyes slowly blink open and readjust to the brightness of what little there is. The sun is obscured by a thick layer of fog, making it impossible to estimate the time of day. I prop up my elbow and push myself up. The ground is hard and rocky, but that isn't the only reason I am eager to get to my feet. I check my surroundings. The harsh, craggy earth of the island is interlaced with twisting vines and gnarled branches. Beside me, Bameli is still fast asleep. The guide, however, is nowhere to be seen. I realize that I don't recall seeing him lay down with everyone. It's likely he left us hours ago. There is a creeping silence here. What? He abandoned us? Son of a... I can't help but shudder at the hollow, aching feeling inside of me. It refuses to relent. I shift my weight back and forth, unsure of what to do with myself. Memories of last night's harrowing journey flicker through my mind. Bameli awakes suddenly, rising with alarm. My mouth opens, then shuts, and after a moment of fumbling, a word finally escapes. Hello. Bameli gives me a gentle smile and makes his way over to me.
Morning.
Well, it's actually late afternoon, but a pocket of quiet descends over us. Bameli sighs. The atmosphere is weighing on him already.
Eat something soon.
Indeed.
Yes.
Can we stop being so formal? A distinct rustling of the leaves around catches my attention. The guide appears emerging from the thicket. Bameli glances at him as he makes his way over.
The Nixie will not tread on land in daylight. However, being near the shoreline is still dangerous. If you leave the center of the island, remain cautious.
Wise decision.
Before the sun sets, I will be in this area. It will be wise to meet me here before nightfall.
Why do you do this?
It's a good question. But then again, if he doesn't do it, who would? I sharply turn towards Bameli as he snarls and confronts the guide.
You would just let him follow behind us. If you had been there before, none of this would have happened.
You can't blame the guide.
They didn't have to die.
But at the same time, if everybody stopped to help everybody, then there's a good chance there would have been more casualties. The guide looks away, seemingly unaffected.
If all you're going to do is leave everyone to be lost, then why bother guiding us at all?
That's an unfair statement, Bameli. Despite Bameli's severe words, the guide apparently considers his piece here finished. He turns towards the forested area from which he came. The guide probably gets that a lot.
Wait,
Bameli calls out to the guide, reaching towards him. Before he can make contact, I quickly place a hand on his shoulder. He lowers his arm to his side, though I can still feel wrath emanating from him. We stay this way until the guide disappears from view. Bameli begins to kick at the ground, spraying tiny pieces of gravel about.
Bameli, I know you're angry, but regardless of our feelings, we need the guide. If he leaves us, we'll all die.
Which is exactly true, and why Bameli needs to calm his anger management issues for the now.
done so well with him.
Hey, we're alive. Margaret wasn't even part of the plan. God, Margaret, I'm sorry. No. I feel bad. I give him a cold glance. We won't even know what bridge to take without the guide. Bameli knows that. This needs to stop. There are people counting on us to make it back.
We can't afford to lose our way.
True. The anger etched into his expression fades into sadness.
I can't stay here right now.
Well, Bameli, you gotta stay close, okay? Quietly I speak. Bameli, wait. No, we can't separate. We cannot be too far away. I speak too softly for Bameli to hear me. No! Lingering only for a moment, I start following the trail Bameli took. It doesn't take him long to notice I'm there, and he slows his pace so I can easily catch up. We fall into step for a short while, neither of us speaking. Eventually, we come to a thick stand of trees and wordlessly weave our way through the branches. Once we're hidden by the foliage, Bameli leans against a tree trunk, head hung low. Negativity radiates off of him, but I don't know what I should say. Should be upbeat positivity, man. Fortunately, he breaks the silence.
I apologize for back
No, you're fine, Bameli. I understand why you're angry, why you're upset. It's the same reason why I'm angry and upset. Margaret! No! I nod firmly. His reply isn't unexpected. For as long as I've known Bameli, he has had a tendency to let his temper flare, then regret it later, after processing his thoughts. Exactly. I have been there more than once.
I know that dealing with these sorts of situations calmly is part of the job. I cannot tell myself everything is fine, that none of it matters.
Bameli, trust me, I completely understand.
Sure, I can feel something without it being anger. I've not figured that out either.
Yeah, that's something that takes a lot of time. Rather than speak, I try to listen as supportively as I can while Bameli continues to argue with himself. He sighs, while pensively rubbing the bridge of his nose.
Am I simply being foolish? Would it really have been so harmful to try and help someone else instead of focusing solely on oneself? It looks to me like we're telling ourselves these lines to avoid responsibility.
Well, that's not a fair statement, Bameli. I mean, I agree 100% that I honestly... And I feel for Bameli, because I always try to put everyone else before myself every single time. But sometimes you can't help everybody. You can't. It's impossible. While you may be able to help someone, sometimes helping that person also means you can't help this other person, or in the end, screwing yourself over. It's something that, people struggle with every single day, and I know probably a lot of you guys have felt that at least once in your life. And it's a tough battle, and you will argue with yourself a lot, but sometimes you make the right decision helping yourself and helping the person closest to you than helping somebody else. But I always encourage people to help as many people as possible and to be there for as many people as possible. I strongly and firmly believe that.
It's possible you helping would have worked better. It's also possible it would have been worse.
Exactly. Nobody knows the outcome of what could have happened. No one should ever ask themselves, I could have or I should have. You can't now. Most of the time when you make decisions like that, the choice is in the moment. Sometimes you make the wrong decision, but you can't let that burden you. And that is how we make it through life. Bameli stares across the empty waters of Sidlas.
I want it to be clear that I have not forgotten that those people across this lake are depending upon us. Not for a moment. But would they want us to be so focused on them that we should turn a blind eye to others right in front of us?
Exactly. That's a very tough battle to fight, and that's a very hard question to ask. Is it better to help to finish the goal and get to help those people that are expecting us, or to help the people that are immediately in front of us, with the risk that we won't go to help the people on the end of it?
Even if they would, does that matter? We are more than weapons. We are people. Do we have to cast that aside, turn away from our fellow humans, just to achieve a so-called greater good?
One of the ultimate philosophical questions that we all ask ourselves every single time a situation like this comes up. And honestly, sometimes the greater good sucks. And sometimes it's necessary. It's a very hard line to follow, and sometimes it leads to good things and sometimes it leads to bad things. But at the end of the day, the only person that can say what is good is you, as an individual.
It is not as though this village is a haven of saints. They are only as worthwhile as we are, and these people on the bridges with us, aren't they?
Indeed, everyone is equal, in my eyes anyways.
I don't know.
That's a tough one. I can feel the weight of his words settle upon me. I have had similar thoughts and have questioned what the correct choice is, but unlike Bameli, I have always been silent. I clench my fists tight as I try and stop from saying something rash, which is always the smart thing to do. Never say the first thing that comes to mind. You gotta think about things before you say it. Otherwise, that's when you end up like Bameli's situation and you say the wrong things at the wrong time. Bameli closes his eyes tight and rubs his face again. It is clear that this hasn't been enough to give him much peace. Eventually, his eyes reopen and look directly into mine.
What do you think about all this, Kika? Please, be honest with me.
Oh. Suddenly, my eyes are hot. My vision blurs slightly from tears I desperately am trying to hold back.
I really don't know. That is the truth.
Exactly. My words are soft. Whether he heard or not, the look on my face is enough to garner attention. His eyebrows shoot up in surprise. He walks over to me slowly, concerned.
Kika, what is troubling you?
Oh, everything. Margaret! Margaret, I'm sorry! This actually, like, I'm not gonna lie, like, my face makes it look like I'm laughing and stuff, but, like, oh my god, I'm like, oh no, I feel so bad.
Answers to what you were wondering. Who are we meant to protect? Everyone we can? Whoever we're told to serve and no one else? Just ourselves? Should we only try to protect others when the risk is minimal?
It's always the age-old questions, and I think everyone in history has ever, of any time period, has asked that question. And I think that even now, we still question that every single day.
I have no idea.
This game is so,
what the option is.
this game is so deep. Like, legitimately so deep. I love it. But Melanie's confusion only mounts with my words.
I am sorry for disappointing you.
Aww.
No, you haven't disappointed me in any way. I never should have expected someone else to give me answers to those kinds of questions.
There are very deep philosophical questions that have more than one answer.
It is only... I did not think that...
He does not finish his thought, but I know what he meant to say.
You did not think I was concerned with these issues?
I'm greatly concerned, man. He smiles awkwardly over being caught.
Yes. You never seem to be bothered by anything we experienced before now.
Don't let faces fool you, because that's what gets you every single time. If your friend has suffered a great loss or pain, even a stranger who has suffered a great loss or pain, even your own family, if they have suffered loss or pain, and they don't show it, that doesn't mean they don't care. Because sometimes we all wear a mask that is meant to protect us from such very difficult things. And sometimes people just need a hand or just someone to talk to. God, no, I'm not going to start crying, okay? No, that's not what this episode's going to be. With his words, my carefully held resolve crumbles. In an instant, my cheeks are wet with hot fluid cooling in the chill air as it slips down my face. No, I'm not going to start crying.
Always cared. I've always been afraid and confused, but I have kept up a
I stop and gasp for air, my throat almost as tight as when we were running on the bridges.
force of strength in order to get by.
Which is the case with a lot of people. I'm not innocent in that either. Some of the hardest things in my life that I've had to deal with, I have to like grit my teeth. I have to play the role of looking like I'm calm, cool, and collected, but it hurts so much. This is surprisingly deep. I don't know. No. I really don't want to talk about the worst parts of my life. No, at least not here. Not now. But about 2.5 years ago, I definitely was in a case of exactly that. Trying to look cool and trying to keep up pace with everything that was happening around me. And just feeling like you're drowning when you're trying to make the decisions that you make. And the only thing you can do is make yourself look strong and be able to handle everything that's happening around you when you feel like the world is crumbling. I'm not gonna get into the details because I don't want to bum you guys out, but that is. God, this game is making me feel emotions. This is really good. Like, this game is really good. I breathe deeply with relief, terrified and lightheaded from my confession. But Melly's voice is as delicate as flower petals.
I had no idea. How could I not have noticed?
Sometimes we're so focused on our own lives that we don't notice the pain and suffering of the people around us. It's a very common thing.
Because I did whatever I could to make sure no one did. I have never wished to appear weak in front of others. But the truth is, I barely get through each day. I often feel overwhelmed with sadness at all that we've experienced.
Amen to that, sister. O'Malley gently places his hands on my shoulders as I try not to sob wildly.
Kika, I truly apologize for all the thoughtless things I have said to you.
I shake my head, sniffling.
There is no need for you to apologize.
He smiles, the warmth almost enough to make me forget the damp.
I beg to differ. I have failed to treat you right.
You have always been respectful.
A person needs more than respect from their comrades. They also need support. I have never given you that kind of consideration because I believed someone like you did not need it.
The same could be said for me.
Very true, very true.
Nonsense. You have listened to my rambling on more occasions than I can remember. Though I admit my memories may not be there due to being drunk many of those times.
Oh gosh. O'Malley laughs at himself while glancing in my direction to encourage me to do the same. His comforting words make me smile, and I feel my tears finally cease to fall. And I will continue to support you, my friend. He grins wider than he has since we began this horrible journey.
You have my thanks.
And you have mine.
Indeed. Friendship, man. Friendship. Guys, seriously. This is... Oh my god, no. I cannot get emotional right now. Abruptly, his expression becomes serious once more.
I will come to answer these questions someday. But no matter what I decide, I will still put trust in your judgment.
Awesome. Friendship and trust goes two ways, man. Goes two ways. I can respect that. I fear I may not live up to the belief he seems to have in me, but I nod firmly. He returns my nod.
Perhaps we should go check how everything is on the island.
Wise decision.
That sounds like an excellent idea. And I will accompany you, of course.
Of course, of course.
Glad to hear it.
Yeah, there's the smile. Freaking yes. There you go. Together we walk back towards the interior of the island. Both our moods lift as we stay side by side. O'Malley and I head through the wooded part of the island. There isn't anything that could be called a path, but we manage to pick our way through the bush quite well. Through a thinner stand of trees, we briefly catch sight of the guy standing on one of the beaches. He seems fine, but even though I'm sure he turned his head towards me, he makes no show of acknowledging us. It takes less time than I would have hoped for us to see all that there is on this isolated place. Now we will have to spend time simply waiting, a far more unpleasant task. Oh my god. Well, actually, guys, I'm gonna end this video here just because I haven't even been timing this. I've just been trying to get lost in the experience of the game, and boy, did I do it, man! I didn't even think I was gonna talk about some of that stuff, but okay, seriously, I'm not gonna lie. GB Patch games, you guys, absolutely amazing game. Honestly, I haven't gotten to the ending. I'm only halfway through the game. And it's making me feel emotions I never thought I'd feel while recording. Oh my god, I almost started crying. But seriously, guys, if you guys want to show some love to GB Patch Games, I'm going to leave a link to their Twitter page so you guys can show some support there. From there, you can see links to their other site, to any other support sites that they might have. Seriously, guys, show them all the love and support because this game is absolutely amazing. I did not think I would feel these feelings, but I am now, and honestly, oh, I can't wait to continue playing. Thank you guys so much for all your guys' support, and thank you guys so much for watching this video. If you have any suggestions for games for me, please let me know in the comment section down below, or you can tweet at me at Wintercasice on Twitter. The link will be in the description. Thank you guys so much for watching this video. If you liked it, make sure you press down on that like button like there's no tomorrow, and hopefully, guys, I'll get to see every single one of you in the next video. So make sure you take care and yes, stay frosty.